Figure we jam out a little bit till we get a viewer or two.
Yeah, a little teenage wasteland.
Yeah. Bob O'Reilly.
Bob O'Reilly, baby.
Yes, sir.
Dude, I had the craziest weekend
Really?
with River City. I had to drive to
That's
Penn.
right.
I had to
Was
drive
Dawn
to
Marie
Penn.
there?
What's that?
Was Dawn Marie there?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, because I saw her post about being down in Jacksonville. Then I
Yep.
remembered you had your thing that week in Jacksonville. So tell me
Yeah.
about it. I know you were nuts setting it up.
Pal. Yeah, the setup. You're actually the first person to acknowledge that. Everyone was like, Simon, your schedule was crazy. The lead up to it, because I do trivia every hour on the hour, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. I booked this year. I booked all of the wrestling, ran the locker room. They asked me to co-host all the Q&A sessions, and I host a costume contest, video game. It's nuts. But Friday, I foolishly took a booking in Panama City Beach.
Why would you do that?
Because I'm dumb. Because I'm dumb. So I drive 5.5 hours to Panama City Beach, wrestle a match, have to zip back to St. Augustine, which is another 5 hours.
Right.
For back-to-back days of River City, man. I was busier than a bag of dildos on OnlyFans.
Yeah, that's really probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say. You said
But
a lot of dumb shit.
but I loved it, dude.
All right.
It's one of those things like, and if anybody in my small circle of friends gets this, it's you. It's one of those stupid prideful things that's like, I know very few people could keep this schedule and do what I'm doing right now and do it the way that I can, you know.
Listen, as much as I'd like to say I don't have an ego, I say that a lot of times, like I don't have an ego anymore. You still deep down have an ego, and you still want things to be great, especially things, I found that, especially after I had Tyler, everything he was involved with, I wanted to make it the best I could. So
Yep.
the ego kicks in. So I 100% get that. But yeah, I definitely would not have done a show before then, though.
No, especially wrestling. Like I wrestled the night before. Granted, I only took one bump, and there were people in the locker room like, why is Sez in the main event? He doesn't even do anything. Blah, blah, blah. And I went out and cut a promo at the start of the night, got my heat, did one bump, and the people chanted Simon sucks the entire show. So of course you got these guys that are doing a million flips and
So yeah, so it's funny because you know how many bumps I took in my match Saturday night? One bump.
Hey, yeah.
One bump. That was it. It was one bump. That was it. Yeah. So we were right outside Cleveland in Youngstown, Ohio.
Okay.
For Absolute Intense Wrestling. Great setup. Great guy that runs it. Great guy that brought us in. Everything was first class, minus the fact that I sat in the back seat with the ring steps.
The ring steps.
Yes.
I wish.
I had my arm on the ring steps for the entire ride.
I want to share that picture on the Mosh Sez show page because.
All right, I'll text it over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, WWE legend, former WWE World Tag Team Champion, and he's got to sit with his arm wrapped around the ring step in the back seat of his car for an hour and a half.
There it is, right here. Hold on, there it is, right there.
There's Glenn's new tag team partner, the ring steps. Yeah,
so,
tag the steps up with Glenn.
So the guys we're working come over and talk. This is great. So they come over and they're like, "Hey, we're working you guys today." And the first thing we say is, "I'm sorry. Like, we're sorry. You got to work us." And I'm like,
were they younger guys?
Yeah, they were younger guys. They were good. They were good kids. I call everyone kids. They were good. They knew what they were doing. They were very respectful. Like it was fun. But they sit there and we're like, "All right, so here's what we're gonna do." And I look at them. They're like, "Okay." They're like, "Oh, you're." I go, "Nothing." I go, I don't want to lock up. I don't want to, because one guy's like, "My hamstring's kind of sore." He goes, "So I got to go easy with the running." I go, "This whole body's sore." I go, "So I don't want to do nothing." So they, we're sitting there, we're joking around. They walk away. I look at Glenn. I go, how bad do these kids feel now? And Glenn's like, yeah, they were probably all excited. Like, oh, we're working the headbangers tonight. And they walk away going, we ain't doing shit. They don't want to do anything. So, which, us, we say that, we joke around, but once we get out there, we do stuff. So Glenn plans this whole opening spot where, he's going to take the kid's arm. They're going to work the arm. He's going to work the headlock, his tackle, drop down, whatever. Then I come in. I'm going to do my two little things. We're going to get out. We're going to get heat on Glenn. I'm going to come in, punch, bump, backsplash, stupid dance, hit something, boom, go home. So we're sitting there. We're in a brewery. It was Penguin. What was it called? Hold on, I got it right here.
Big room, Chaz?
Yeah, it was a nice sized room.
Okay.
Where was it at?
But it's real quick. It's so funny to hear you say that because I distinctly remember. I mean, I've gushed about my personal feelings the first time I got to work with you guys, and my brother was in the crowd crying and stuff. But I remember we had that same interaction. Frank and I came up, and you were like, "Hey, we're not doing anything tonight," and Frank and I were like, "Oh, thank God." Then we get out there, and you start calling spots to me. And I tagged Franco. They actually want to do stuff. I wasn't ready for this.
So we were in Penguin City Brewing Company.
Oh,
it was the name of the brewery in Youngstown, Ohio. So you got all the containers up front. They have like a bar and have like arcade games. Then you go up the steps and you walk into the back, and there's a whole nother room. That's where the ring was. So we get in the ring. The ring announcer does his thing. We get in the ring. I grab the microphone. And I said, listen, we're in a brewery. I said, I've never wrestled in a brewery before. I'm excited to be here in Youngstown, Ohio, in the brewery to get the cheap pop that we got. And I said, I look at the two guys. I go, I have a proposition for you. I go, we can stay in the ring, and Glenn and I can just beat the shit out of you guys all over the place. I said, or there's a perfectly good bar right there. Let's go over to the bar, and let's have a drinking contest.
Yes.
So the one kid goes, I'm a professional drinker. He goes, I don't know if you want to do that. I go, I'm a professional wrestler. I don't think you want to wrestle me. So we go over to the bar.
Wait, you guys actually went?
Oh, yeah. Went over to the bar. The bartender set up 4 shots. We all do the shots. Then we all slap hands. And then Glenn and I just lit into these kids.
Oh, my God.
We just start pulling them. Glenn takes one over, like he bangs him on a table because there was a kid there. You know who was there? It was John Tenta Golga's daughter was there.
Oh,
she was running one of the gimmick tables. She's training, I guess, to be a wrestler. So we were talking to her, and there was an empty table right next to her. So we asked her, like, if we put our stuff out on this table, like, can you watch it when we're not out here? She's like, yeah, no problem at all. Well, this kid comes over, he starts putting his stuff down, and we're like, dude, we're using this table. And he's like, okay. I said, we need the whole table because we have pictures, we're going through the whole thing. He goes, okay, he keeps putting his shit out. I looked at Glenn and I was like, I don't know. I go, if this was me and I was just starting and, they bring Demolition or somebody in like that and they say, hey, this is our, we're using this table. I'd be like, okay, I'd be taking my stuff and going somewhere else.
Yeah.
So anyway, they ended up giving us another table right by the entrance, which worked out even better because everyone passed us.
Hold on. You guys had to move?
So hold on. Yeah. So it was fine. It worked out to be fine. So we do the shots. I take the kid. I bang his head into the bar. I go taking him back to the ring. I see Glenn taking the other guy all the way around the crowd to where the table was that the kid stuff was. All of a sudden, you heard bang, boom, and I look over and you see all these pictures flying in here. Then this shit goes all over. So now I'm in the ring with the kid, and I pick him up, and I think I slammed his head into the apron, and I rolled him in. And as I climb into the ring, I look back, and the ring announcer's sitting there holding up a can of Penguin Brewery beer. And I'm like, yes. I go over. I grab the beer. I start drinking the beer. I take it over to the guy we're working, and I go, here, have a sip. So he's like, okay. So he's drinking the beer. He hands it back to me. I drink the beer. Then I spit the beer in his face. Like that's the whole. Glenn comes back. It's like drop down clothesline. Then we do our chop spot, get a little bit of heat, go home. Then the ring announcer guy comes over and he holds up a closed can of beer. So he throws me the beer. Then he throws me another beer. I throw Glenn a beer. Then he throws 4 beers into the ring. So I look around and I look down at down at the apron, and I'm like, I wonder if they care if we get beer all over this. And then I went, I've always wanted to do this. I cracked the beers open.
Yes. Yes.
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold Mosh.
Yes.
By the way, don't think I didn't catch this. For all the folks that are going to be streaming this and watching this, rewind this feed and go back to when Chaz starts telling the story, and he mentions John Tenta's daughter's there, Golga's daughter, not Earthquake.
Well, okay, so there's a reason for that. No, there's a reason for that. So she told us. There's a reason. There's a reason for that, because she said to us, she goes, so when I heard you guys were going to be here, someone said to me, this is what I swear to God, she goes, someone said to me, hey, do you think the Headbangers worked your dad Golga as the oddities? And we were like, yes, we worked them. I said, we hated working them. The best part about working them was your dad, because he was the only one in there who knew how to work.
Yes.
He was the only salvation we had in those matches, 100%. That's why I said Golga, because she didn't mention Earthquake, and then because we had talked to her for a good 5 minutes just about whatever, and then when she told us that, I'm like, why didn't you start with that? Like, that should be your opening. I said, someone, again, I'm going to sound diva-ish, someone like us coming from that era with him, you need to open that up like, hey, I'm John's daughter. Because that's like an in conversation piece right there. But yeah, I went with Golga, not Earthquake.
Amazing. Oh, hey, who'd you see this weekend, Chaz? Oh, we saw Barry Darso from the famous tag team. You know, when he was Repo Man.
Repo Man.
But you said
with them signing a Legends contract, would you buy a Repo Man action figure?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, I for sure would. And you said you had about 300 there, dude. That's school's out, and you said it's a college town. 300 is not bad.
No, he said last time he actually was upset the house was down, but he said he understood because they ran in February. He said they had like 500-600.
Yeah, but
the beer. But hold on, let me go back to the beer though. The beer was actually really good. I'm not a beer guy. I'd rather drink Tito's with a splash of pineapple or some Crown Royal Peach. This beer was good.
I was just about to say this. You and I somehow, in all the years, we've never really partied together much besides the times we come to trivia. I don't think I've ever seen you drink beer.
I'm not a fan of beer. I drink beer.
Really?
And I'm just being social. And I don't want to get a buzz or I got to drive home. Because I don't like the taste. This is going to sound funny. I don't like the taste of it. And
I get it.
Hold on. No, I'm not done. This is the part that you're going to laugh at. I don't like the taste of it, and it makes me feel bloated. So I don't like drinking it. So I take a beer and I just sip it, and one beer will last me all night.
Oh, you nurse it.
Because then once it's empty, I still just carry it around and act like I'm still drinking it.
What a worker.
Yeah.
What a worker.
Let me plug the beer because I talked to the guy. I signed the beer can for him.
Chazzer, what does Glenn drink?
Whatever I hand him.
I've never had a drink with Glenn. You I have, but not him.
Where's the can I had?
Glenn, if you're watching this, Uncle Glenn, just make sure you write a nice thank you letter to the T-shirt fairy.
It's Penguin City Brewing Company is where we were.
And you said it was good?
And the beer they had the light beers, but they had, and yeah, it was pretty good. And I talked to him because I signed the guy that brewed the beers. I was walking by because it was great. Our match was right before intermission. So as we get done in the ring, I look at the ring announcer. I go, "Hey, make sure you tell them we're now going over there to sign, sell pictures and merchandise or whatever. I go, and I will be walking past the bar. If anybody wants to buy me a shot or do a shot with me, let me know. So as I walk up, the guy that brewed the beer, he goes, "Hey, do you like the beer?" I'm like, "Yeah, actually, it's really good." He goes, "Great, here, let's drink a beer together." So we sat
That's
there
awesome.
and chugged the beer. And then at the end of the night, Glenn and I signed the can and I gave it to him. And I'm like, "So can I get this in Florida? Is there a way to?" And they were like, "Well, go on our website, send us your info, and we'll see what we can do." I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "So let's come back then, bring us back, because I'll come here and we can do a whole promo."
Hey, tell him the unofficial third headbanger would like to come along as your advocate for that show.
I tell him we now have an official driver who won't be driving with the ring
Hey, well, you were before intermission. Were you guys the only legends there? Who was the main?
I don't know what the main was, but no. So who's the other guy? There was a guy from AEW there, and then little Guido was there.
Oh,
for the FBI. So they did it. I think they did it. No, the other guy did a different match. Yeah, and Guido was there. So yeah, I don't know who the main event was. I honestly think we left before that because it was an hour and a half drive back.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And happened to get up at 4 to catch a 6 o'clock flight home.
And you didn't have to ride back to the hotel with the ring steps, did you?
No, thank goodness the ring steps stayed with the ring this time. Hey, so let me ask you the big swerve that happened on Saturday night.
Oh my God.
So, you read and hear things. And when we were actually driving back and I was just going on my phone and I saw what happened. And I was like, what a great storyline and angle this was, where he's gone, but hey, he's back. But then I read that he really did get fired, but it was
the fan outrage.
The fan outrage was so bad, they had to bring him back. And it was Nick Khan who called him to bring him back. And at first he refused to take Nick's calls.
He was ghosting them, dude.
Yes.
You want to know what the most awkward part about it was, Chaz? I'm at the resort. I'm at the resort for River City, and I'm co-hosting this big watch party for the pay-per-view. There was a mystery guest announced for it. It was Carlito. So I'm having to sit there few feet away from Carlito as he's watching this pay-per-view and see a guy that got fired within days being brought back.
And they had a T-shirt made. Because I guess he wants to come back as Ron Killings, not R-Truth.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I think you stick. Well, it depends.
Because I read a report saying that he wants to have one more serious run before he retires, and immediately my thought, why?
Yeah, that I don't agree with that, because what got you over and what people want to see is R-Truth. If you get serious, you're going to go.
Yep. That is literally what brought you back, was the fact that you've endeared yourself through comedy,
through being an entertainer.
Yes.
100%. And I even saw that there was a Ron Killings T-shirt WWE made already.
I wonder how well it's doing.
I don't know,
because I did hear that the week that he wrestled John Cena at Saturday night's main event, that Ron Cena shirt that he had on that we talked about last week on the show was their number one seller.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he should stay with R-Truth. Even and you can take the R-Truth character and make it a little bit more serious if you want, but don't go from that high class comedy to just being, now I'm Ron Killings, I'm back. People brought me back, thank you, and now I'm going to be a totally different person.
Yeah,
you're going to have to wait and see, and I'm sure we're going to see it tonight.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, hold on, we got a comment. Spot on. He's making a mistake not keeping the time routine. That's totally what got him over. Right.
Joe, you got it.
As soon as he tries to be serious, then they're going to can him again.
Yes. Hey guys, thanks for clamoring to have me back. Let me give you the exact opposite of what you wanted.
Because if he comes back as R-Truth, he can try to be serious, but it can be funny being serious at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he did that for a little while. I just watched a clip a couple of days ago of him in the ring with Triple H cutting a heel promo where he's still oblivious R-Truth. And I
Right.
think I can't remember if it was in the WWE or in TNA. He went by Ron the Truth Killings.
Yeah, I remember. I think that was in TNA.
Yeah, but to completely go like get rid of the R-Truth thing, like that's your brand.
Right. So I'm wondering how we'll see it tonight on Raw, because I saw Cena's advertised. So
Oh, he'll be on tonight?
Cena will be, yeah. Cena was advertised. I saw him in an email. He was advertised. And then I wrote this down. I wanted to ask you about this. So Jey Uso obviously is going to be there because he's the Raw brand, but he's working Gunther for the belt. Here's my opinion, and I wanted to ask you: is it too much? Is he working defending the belt too much on TV, or is it now just that's how it is because there's really no house shows. There's really no. They do championship matches all the time now. So just remember back in the day, the championship matches were always held for the pay-per-views.
Pay-per-view, yeah.
Or PLEs now. But I know now they do more of them on TV because they don't have the shows, they don't have all the the house shows, they don't have everything anymore. But for Jey Uso, who's their top guy, one of their top champions, is it too much? Is he defending it too much every week on TV?
Dude, I didn't realize you'd gotten your journalism degree. That's a damn good question. And you bring up a great point. I didn't even realize the lack of house shows thing. Because I was gonna answer your question by asking you a question. Do you think it's because I think it is a lot. Obviously, it's a lot, and we've talked about especially with Gunther. You're gonna put Gunther under again. You just had him,
Well,
but
our friend Joe Spencer is active in the comments. Just threw this up there. It's a setup for Goldberg to appear tonight. Set up the match with Gunther.
all right, Joe. Put your armchair booking away.
Gunther versus Goldberg. Yeah.
But Chaz, let me ask you this, because
Yes.
I do to answer your question. Yeah, I do think it's a lot. Championship matches should be special, but do you think they're also doing it because the main championship isn't being defended all the time? They didn't defend it at Money in the Bank. Well, actually, they didn't defend either title. So, do you think they're having Jay, put forth the workhorse title to make up for the lack of Cena's defenses? Maybe.
Or maybe they're just keeping that title. Is when Rollins brought it out and made it prominent again, Seth Rollins came out and said, "Hey, I'm going to make this the workhorse title." Maybe they're just keeping it that way. But did Gunther work? Did Gunther didn't defend it every week on TV?
He sure didn't. I honestly, I'd have to look back. I think he defended it less often than Jey Uso has.
Yeah, Jay seems to be. I don't know. Just it could just be because it's been recent for me. But it seems to me like it just seems like he's been defending it like every week on TV.
The big thing that I don't understand is Jey Uso was white hot leading into WrestleMania. People were rioting naked in the streets. And then he wins the Rumble, and immediately the fickle fans turn on him. And then he beats Gunther, and it seems like his popularity is like waning. Like he's still over. People love his entrance, but
Right. I think that's the only thing they like is the entrance.
Right?
And I know it's just Jay being Jay, and I don't mean this in a bad way whatsoever. But his ring entrance is 5 minutes long. And then when he gets in there, he's so blown up from the ring entrance and yeeting and doing the whole thing. He can't cut a promo. So it's like bits and pieces and it's just like spitting out like words here and there. It's not like a normal promo. And I realize that's just Jay and that's his personality and that's the persona. I get it. And I'm not knocking it at all. But if you've noticed, he starts talking and about a minute into it, now boom, ring entrance. They cut him off.
Yeah.
Promo and they bring someone out. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I don't know. I mean, I love Jada. He's great, but I don't know what's going on.
No, he's amazing, but
Yeah,
you nailed it. Like his promos are, I mean, person as a fan, as a consumer of the product, his promos to me are not cohesive. But the main takeaway I've gotten is there's been very few times where I believe that he believes the things that he is saying.
right. Yeah, and that may be part of the gimmick too, of that whole insecurity. No one believes in me. No one thinks I can do it, but look, I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Sort of, sort of thing.
But let me
Yeah,
ask you this, Chaz. Then, in a perfect world, if somebody said, "Chaz, Mosh, we're stuck. We have no ideas. Who do you think should take the championship from Jey Uso? Hell, John Cena too. In your perfect booking world, as someone that has been in the wrestling business 30 plus years, who do you think is apt enough to take that title?
besides me.
Besides Chaz, that was my fucking idea.
Um,
Yes,
I think I actually liked Gunther with it.
you
I
would go
think him
back to
getting
it.
it, I would, yeah. Because he's not really doing anything, and if this Goldberg thing does happen, I think that'll be boring as hell. Um, but because
Boy, so
I don't know.
how do you feel about Gunther taking the belt that Cena has?
I mean, either way, that's.
Because
I mean, either way.
that's the
Well,
big one.
what I like about Gunther is he's old school. He's
And
just,
believable.
yeah, he's old school. He's believable. Like you watch him and you just go, damn, he could beat someone's ass. He's slow. He's methodical. That's what I like about it. Yeah.
My
So
my hot take on it is I miss big Gunther. Like
right,
good for him. He's lost the weight. He's never gonna have a body like yours, no matter how hard he tries. You're I'm not just blowing you because you're my one of my best friends. You know, you're jacked. You just posted a video of you working out. And God, if you told me you were half your age, I'd believe it. But I think big, not fat, but bulky Gunther was more imposing, right? Am I
right.
wrong? Is that dumb to say?
No, not dumb at all. Not dumb at all. Not dumb at all. But speaking of staying with the champion theme, Seth Rollins winning Money in the Bank. Predictable.
Yep.
I personal opinion with everyone out there, the way he's got a whole crew now, I think it would have been better if somehow he did not win Money in the Bank and let him be pissed off and have to chase even more instead of making it so obvious. That it was very clear he was going to go over for it.
So obvious and so fast. Like you
Right.
guys just put the group together. If anything, I would have had Braun Breaker win it.
Well, he wasn't in the match, was he?
Yeah, but that's what I'm
He was.
saying. I would have put him in Seth Rollins' place.
Well, I don't know if I would have done that because that would have caused dissension in the ranks already with them just putting all that together. I would have put it on someone totally different. I don't remember who was all in the match, but I would have put it on. I would have let someone else go over for that just to build more heat with Seth. You build more heat with that whole little faction he's got going on.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, if Sami Zayn would have been in that match, that would have been a cool situation if he wins it. And hey, sorry, Jay, I know we're friends, but
right,
I want that title. And then you
Would be
bring the Seth Rollins thing back in. They just had
right.
that whole little beef, but I don't know. I really think they're gearing towards having CM Punk maybe take that title off of John Cena. But
Unless they're going to go down to just one belt total, and
do you
there
think
are
they
no belts,
will?
or unless I don't know
Would
because
you?
they've done it
Do
a
you
couple
want
times
them
and they
to?
keep bringing it back.
Would you prefer that? Would you want them to?
Part of me says yes, part of me says no. The part that says yes is I don't like that there's two champions. I don't like that there's two tag champions. I do like that there's a U.S. champion and intercontinental champion. I don't
Yes.
like that there's two sets of tag champions.
No.
I don't like that. I don't like that there's a heavyweight champ and a WWE champ. Like to me, it's all the same, especially since they're going back on each other's. They're showing up on each brand.
And then that's yes, Chaz. Yes. When the draft was still viable and believable, to have a heavyweight champion for Raw and a heavyweight champion for SmackDown, where it was a spectacle and something special for them to intermingle, I understood that. But now everybody's
Right.
on everything.
Everyone's all over. I mean, everyone's all over the place to the point where, and I think this is amazing. NXT, which is great. Everyone's going, they're skipping all around because each brand's strong enough to carry its own because each brand is drawing. I mean,
Yeah.
NXT is drawing also. So,
But then, like, remember a few years ago for Survivor Series when they had the NXT guys against the Raw guys and SmackDown guys? That was special because you never saw guys ping pong
right.
across shows. But now you have that. You have two sets of women's heavyweight titles. You have a women's secondary title for each brand. Like everybody gets a title. Everybody.
Right. Yeah, but I don't mind so much the secondary title, one being the U.S. and the Intercontinental, because they both, I think, stand on their own because they're two different. They're two different things. Because in my opinion, the Intercontinental title is a little bit higher than the U.S. title.
Oh yeah.
So it's just that and the tag teams. But speaking of, let's stick with titles again. NXT, Trick Williams being the TNA World Champion.
How huge is that?
Dude, that's ginormous. You talk about them going back and forth now.
When you were the reigning WWF World Tag Team Champions, Chaz, could you have ever objectively visualized going to defend the WWF Tag Team titles on another promotion show?
No.
Right?
No, but at the same time, we won the NWA World Tag Team titles on Monday Night Raw, which the NWA no title in the history of NWA has ever been switched somewhere else outside of an NWA show.
Yes, that is true.
So, I have that going for me.
Yeah. Hey, no, that's I mean, no, we're joking. That's huge, man. I mean, I don't know if you remember on the very first episode we ever recorded of this, I asked you, and it was heartfelt, and I meant it, like the things that you have accomplished. This is Simon's fluffing Chaz section of the show, everybody. The things you have accomplished, pal. I mean, I'll never know what it's like. You have done things that are going to outlive you. You have accomplished things. You have left a mark on the wrestling business that are going to live long past when you shed your mortal coil. You're in the record books as a world champion. You're the only time the NWA titles have switched hands outside of NWA show. You're immortalized in video games. You're immortalized in action figures. Like that's not nothing, pal. That's huge.
And don't forget, I have 2 undefeated gimmicks.
And and his modesty is what I love most about him.
I had to bury all of that with an undefeated gimmick with the Sisters of Love and Beaver Cleavage.
You know what's crazy about this weekend? I got to host a Q&A with Melina, one with Kevin Nash, one with Hacksaw Jim Duggan, one with The Big Show. I got to interview the Hurt Business, all 4 of them, for the first time ever since they all got released. I asked Kane the question I just asked you about. How does it feel to know, like, your children's children, their children are gonna have stuff to look back on and go, hey, our relative Chaz, look at these things. Like, he's created moments that are gonna outlive him. And freaking Kane got choked up, dude, which got me choked up. He's like, no one's ever put it to me like that before.
Right. Yeah, it's totally different. And that's why I don't have an answer. And that's why I always make a joke of it, because honestly, you know me with compliments, it makes me uncomfortable.
But it's
it's
huge.
100%. You're correct, but because I don't think of myself that way, or I don't think of it that way, it's hard to imagine. But you mentioned the Hurt Business. I did see. Now I'm going to I got to turn it back to comedy. I did see this thing of the Hurt Business and the chance of R-Truth going to AEW. The thing was, is the 3 of them, R-Truth standing in the back, and the meme says, R-Truth is, I'm so happy to be proud. I'm so proud to be part of the Nation of Domination.
Was it you that told me how great it would be if R-Truth wound it up on AEW or TNA and just walked in thinking he was still on Monday Night Raw?
Yeah, but the thing was, if he went to he went up to Moxley and was like, "Hey, Dean, what's going on?" I can't I can't take credit for it though because Bubba and Mark Henry talked about it on Busted Open Radio. So
Ah,
yes, I mentioned it last week.
I'm giving you the credit, but I've been giggling about that like a schoolgirl since we recorded last week, dude. That's
I saw
gold.
him in the back of them when it said, "I'm so happy to be and proud to be part of Nation of Diamonds." I mean, they should have just have him go and do all that because that's fucking comedy gold.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
It is. It is. All right. What else? I'm still waiting to hear back from the publisher. I'm like twirling my thumbs waiting.
Oh yeah. No update, nothing?
He just told me. I knew he said when I sent it to him. I knew he said he was busy for the week. So now it's been 3 weeks. I sent him what he wanted me to send for the post WWE story, and he goes, "All right." He goes, "I'm hoping to get to it quickly." He goes, "I've just been swamped." He goes, "I'm hope to get back to you quick."
Wait, hold on. How much of the post WWE stuff have you written? Because I know that's what you were working on.
So it was about 12 pages.
Holy cow.
But some of it was detailed, some of it was vague. Because I don't know exactly what he wanted in that. So parts of it were detailed, like when I first left, kind of how I ended up moving to Florida and how I ended up, pimping copiers. I put that was kind of detailed. And then it was like, here's the part where it gets vague. I'm like, yeah, 2018, I got thyroid cancer. I don't know if you want to know more about that or not. I just skipped it. And I'm like, and then this part happened. And then I don't know how much he wanted me to get into it, with, having Tyler and how involved I was with him. So I kind of just put okay, I got married here. And then I had a son and this kind of happened. And then I went into, how I ended up being more successful on the copier side. But then I said to him also, though, and it actually got this from Tyler talking to him about it because he was asking me about the book while I was doing all this, and I was kind of talking him through it. And he said to me, he goes, "Dad," he goes, "you're not just a wrestler." He goes, "You're a very successful businessman." He goes, "And you're very good at it." He goes, "You need to write a sales book." And I was like,
Jazzer, look what JBL did with his book, man.
Yeah, I said I never thought about it. So as I was finishing the post story to send off to him, I really started thinking about it. And I said to him, I said, "Listen," I said, "I know you want to read this to see if you need it to be in this part of the, the first book or not." I said, "I think this is a whole different book altogether."
Yeah.
I said, I think the next story is, I said, because you want to know what I did after WWE. I go, this is an entire different book. I said, because now it goes from wrestling ring to boardroom. Because I sit on boards.
That's the title right there.
That's what I said to him. So that's when he wrote back. He goes, "Okay, got it." He goes, "Let me get through this." He goes, "I hope to get back to you quickly." So I've been sitting down writing wrestling ring to boardroom.
Yeah.
I basically took what I sent him and I'm just getting more, and I'm just going line by line, paragraph by paragraph, just getting more and more detailed with it.
But you said you sent them bullet points like marriage, thyroid cancer. I'm sure if there's anything that piques the interest, they'll tell you, "Hey, elaborate on this," right?
Yeah. So and again, that part was all the post, obviously the post WWE stuff. Because I wrote with paragraph, and I'm like, okay, so I got married in November of 02. Tyler was born in April of 04. I love being a father. I was a very over involved father. I did Indian guides with him, and then I put, "Not sure if you want more or not on this," and I just highlighted it. I don't know, because literally, like I said, I could just keep going and going and going, but that's, to me, is a whole separate book that could possibly come out of it.
But I mean, this. It's a lot easier to tell someone, "Hey, let's trim this," rather than saying, "Hey, you gotta give me more. You got
right." Well, you're 100% true, because I talked to Pete Gass about his book when he did his. So he did his through a ghostwriter. Obviously I'm not using a ghostwriter. I'm writing it all myself. And Pete said to me when they sent it to the publisher was like, "Yes, we like this, but we need more. We need more details on how you were feeling on things and more details about this. You need to get more detailed." They needed more. So he had to go back and redo a lot of stuff and get more elaborate. I'm going to
I
get a
don't.
lot cut because, like I told you, he told me 90 to 95,000 words. I sent him 141,000
Hey,
words.
hell yeah. I don't know what your relationship is with him, and I'm gonna name drop here in a second. But have you talked to Mick Foley? Because he wrote his own stuff too.
Right. No, I haven't spoken to him at all about it.
He was there. It was his 60th birthday uh on Saturday, and
Okay.
pal, I'm telling you this. I don't care how much of a mark it makes me sound like we've talked before. We're all marks. I was walking back and forth through some of my obligations. Mick Foley stopped me in the hallway to tell me, "Hey, you're really good on the microphone. Like you have really good promo skills." Which, like, shoot me now.
Right.
That's huge. But before we sign off, I do want to the exclamation point I want to put on is your name came up a lot this weekend. I booked a bunch of like Frankie students, a bunch of young guys. A lot of the guys watch the show and are very complimentary. But during the Q&A with DDP, we mentioned. I'm sure you've seen this video from a convention from a few weeks ago. This fan recorded a bunch of the legends like limping around and like on scooter. It's so disrespectful. It was so just infuriating.
Yeah.
And I talked to DDP and I said, no one's been shy about the fact that you've helped so many people. If there is a wing in heaven for wrestlers, you've got your own ranch. But you see videos like that, the horror stories, and I said, I'm really good friends with Mosh Chaz Warrington, and you know dark side of the ring and all that jazz. But I said between you, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who is so vocal about my life is bright side of the ring. Man, you guys could go on a freaking tour letting people know like there is not only is there life after wrestling, like you just said, you've been more successful in the copier world. And that is huge. I think that is something that not only young guys, but current guys and even some of the legends like could use to hear from folks like you. You are just now starting to transition into the motivational speaker world, but
Right.
I mean affecting guys of your generation, guys before your generation, like you don't hear enough of that of what you're doing, which is why I think that
No.
the post WWE book for you is huge.
Yeah, I think it'll be good, and it'll be fun doing it. And you and I spoke about this before when we started talking about doing this whole podcast or whatever,
Mhm.
just sitting here bullshitting, is to get people on to talk about positive stuff. Like I don't
Yeah,
want this to be negative. Like we throw negative comments out 'cause we're making fun of people or whatever, but that's just in fun and jest.
yeah,
I want this to be a fun, positive thing, and we're going to get into that because I already told you I talked to Nova. He's like, yes, 100% we'll be on. We talked to Pete about his life after wrestling, so there is life out there after it.
and a positive life.
Yes, that's what I mean, a positive life.
Yeah.
So speaking of the videos, when we were doing 90s Wrestling Con for Tommy Fierro last month or whatever, I think I showed you the video or you saw the video of with the guys where Glenn takes the microphone and he farts on it and he's sniffing it, the whole stupid like 12-year-old thing. But we did this. We were standing there. Oh, the guy who was Macho Verse.
Oh, yep. I did see this.
So he comes up. They're standing there at our table, and we're just talking. We're just shooting the shit. So I start talking about my Macho Man experience. I tell him the whole Macho Man in the locker room, Glenn pushing me into him watching my first match. Well, you've heard the story, and just thinking we're just there, just like we're bonding, like we're connecting with the fans because he's dressed as Macho Man. And I
Yep.
posted a picture of me choking him as Macho Man. Motherfucker posted the whole I didn't realize somebody was videoing us. He posts the whole thing, tags me in it on Instagram. I write him back. I didn't realize. Let me see if I can find it. I was pissed.
Ooh.
Let me see. I think it's on Instagram somewhere.
Oh boy, I didn't. Did he take it down? Because I didn't see this.
Yeah. So he actually. It's loading. So I said to him, I didn't realize we were getting film. I said, I didn't know you were filming us. I said, because I would have never shared that story on film. I go, that was not a story to be filmed for you to take. I said, I thought we were just like, you as a wrestling fan, dressed as Macho Man, me, being a Macho Man fan, having that experience with him, I was just sharing a moment with you. I go, it wasn't your place to just go ahead and video it and put it online. I said, that's my story to tell, knowing it's in an interview. I go, so moving forward, I said, you might want to tell people you're videoing them. I go, because I had no idea you were videoing us. I go, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
So he goes, you're absolutely right. And this is the only part I have because it's still loading, and I don't know why it won't load. But he goes, I should have asked. I'm sorry. He goes, I took it down. He goes, noted. And this is actually the cool part. He goes, as a gesture of my apology, I'm donating to Junior Achievement right now. Thank you for sharing the moment. Also, happy birthday, by the way. And then he sent me the receipt that he donated $50 to Junior Achievement of South Florida, which is great. But my point of sharing that story on here is don't video people without them knowing, or at least tell them, hey, I'm going to video this. You mind if I use it? Like the guy doing the interview, clearly there's a camera right there and he's interviewing.
Yeah.
Don't walk up to us as just a fan. We're having a casual conversation and just you're videoing it from a distance without us knowing. Like that was fucked up.
No, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
No, but yeah.
But he took it down and then made a donation to Junior Achievement South Florida. So
well, good. Well, for I mean, the main feedback, people love it. The main feedback, I think I've told you, and it was reinforced this weekend. People when they watch this with us, they feel like they're chatting with their pals. I had some of the boys tell me, says, I listen to you guys on the ride to the gym, on the ride to shows, and I find myself responding to you and Chaz when I know you guys can't hear me. I feel like an idiot. So I mean that's great. I think the lives are working. For anybody that's following this, whether you're watching it right now or if you're gonna go back and watch the stream, Chaz and I are gonna be doing one of these in person soon. Brought to you by Dubby. You get us
in person soon, and moving forward, we want to try and do this every Monday at 6:00. That's the goal.
Perfect.
The goal is to do this live every Monday at 6:00. It may be 6:05, 6:10, but around 6:00 every Monday. That's the goal.
And I'm gonna spring this on him now. For those of you that have asked, hey, Sez, are you ever gonna do trivia? Study up on your Headbangers trivia, because on an episode coming up here soon, I'm not gonna tell you when, I'm gonna spring some Headbangers, mainly Mosh / Beaver Cleavage / Chaz trivia. I'm gonna ask you about his Junior Achievement stuff, his website, the Doobie thing, and I have a prize pack put together that I'll send out to the person that live interacting shares this the most and gets the most trivia questions right.
Jesus, I hope I know the answers to these trivia questions.
Oh my God, dude. I will never stop razzing you if you get any of them wrong.
Hey, there's a good possibility I'm going to get something wrong. I don't remember everything.
Yes.
But, all right, cool beans.
This was fun, man.
This was fun, and see you next Monday at 6 p.m.
6 o'clock, baby.
6 o'clock. All right, peace out.
See you, pal.